Hello, I'm GregSolomon. This is my video response to Mr. Renetto's video entitled, Let's Play Some Poker. Now when I watched this video clip, I became a little confused as to exactly who Mr. Renetto is addressing in this video clip. Because Mr. Renetto, in your Let's Play Poker video clip, you say that someone has called you a liar. You say that someone has called you a fat pumpkin head. And then you go on to imitate my visual that I did of the pranksters reeling you in. So I'm not really sure who you're referring to or who you're addressing, because I have never referred to you as a liar, nor have I ever referred to you as a fat pumpkin head. So I'm not sure who you're referring to. What I think has happened, I believe that you have seen so many video responses concerning this subject. I believe that they've all just come flowing in and have created sort of a montage of images that you have morphed into a persona that you believe is persecuting you. Well, Mr. Robinette, I would say to you that no one is persecuting you. Indeed, this whole thing started when you issued forth a video clip wherein you made the preposterous claim that Steve Chen and Chad Hurley and all the powers that be at YouTube wanted to use you, Renetto, as their mouthpiece. Now, Mr. Dispatcher merely uploaded a video and asked for some evidence. And Mr. Dispatcher didn't want to just accept that on blind faith, so he asked for some evidence. And your response to the Dispatcher was to issue a video clip in which you laughed at the Dispatcher and ridiculed him and mocked him. Then you come out in your Let's Play Poker video and you say, well, I didn't mock the Dispatcher. All I did was respond by laughing, because I thought that the best way to answer his question would be to laugh. Well, gee, I don't know, Mr. Renetto. Where I come from, the best way to answer a man's question is to answer his question. However, you say you just laughed because you thought he was a funny guy and you just got a good laugh out of it, trying to gloss over the fact that actually you ridiculed him. It's right there on tape, Mr. Renetto. It's right there on tape. We've all seen the tape where you ridiculed the Dispatcher. In your answer to him, you laugh at him, and then you make that face. You have him on the screen, and beside him you have that face of you doing this. Remember? Doing this. Ridiculing the Dispatcher. Then you come out in this new video and say, well, you weren't ridiculing him. You're just laughing because he's a funny guy. See? See that? You're speaking with a forked tongue. That's inconsistency, Mr. Renetto. And it's that inconsistency that is causing us to question you when you make certain claims, such as this most recent claim you've made, wherein you state that Steve Chen and the other folks that are running YouTube want to use you as a mouthpiece. You, Mr. Renetto, as a mouthpiece. Well, folks, if you'll remember my last video clip, I told you that Mr. Renetto had dropped from number 8. He got as high as number 8 on the all-time subscriber list and had dropped down to number 11, and number 12 was fast encroaching upon him. Well, since that video clip, number 12 has passed him. Renetto dropped to number 12, and then he indeed dropped to number 13, which is where he resides now. I don't think it would be too far-fetched to say that Renetto is swirling the drain. And I highly doubt that the folks running YouTube are going to use you as a spokesperson when they could very easily post a video clip on the front page of YouTube and reach millions of people with whatever message or information that they wish to get across to us. So, you can see the source of our skepticism. We're not questioning your veracity, Mr. Renetto, but as Ronald Reagan used to say back in the 80s, trust, but verify. And that's what we want. We just want some verification. Now you go on to say in your poker video clip that there are two groups. You make a distinction between two groups out here. You say one group is skeptical about what they hear. Skeptical, as if that's a fault. At the end of your video clip, as a matter of fact, you make all these different faces. All these different faces and caricatures about people questioning you. Make them look as if they're buffoons or foolish or something. Like your imitation you used to do with the Renetto character. Hello, this is the Renetto shot here on the YouTube. Acting like someone who has is mentally challenged and trying to get a laugh with that. Well, it's the same thing here. You're acting as if anyone who would question you or ask for any verification must be mentally challenged or something, and you make all these weird caricatures making fun of people who would question you, who would have the audacity to question you. Well, Mr. Renetto, as I said, you make a distinction between two groups, and one of those groups you call skeptics. Well, I would say to you that the people who are skeptical are merely intelligent, sentient people who wish to see some empirical evidence before they believe in something, as opposed to just following it on blind faith or just taking your word for it, that you're sitting on your couch talking to Steve Chen on the phone, and Steve is saying, yeah, tell YouTube people this and tell YouTubers that and let them know this, and you'll be my mouthpiece. We just want to see a little evidence, that's all. Nobody's really busting your chops here, Mr. Renetto. We're just asking you for a little verification. Anyways, then you go on to describe the second group of people out here. You say there's another camp of people, to use your words, who don't find anything that you say unbelievable. Well, that's very true. That's very true. There are a certain group of people out here, there is a certain group who don't find anything that you say unbelievable. And there's a name for that group. There's a name for those people. Sheep. Sheep. That's the name for them. Believe whatever you say. Just take it and run with it. Sheep. Now, you know, I used a visual in my last video. Let me use a visual in this video using sheep. That brings up a visual. Have you ever seen sheep, Mr. Renetto? Have you ever seen perhaps sheep in a field, or maybe you've watched the Discovery Channel and you've seen sheep on the Discovery Channel? One thing about sheep like to be led. Sheep like to have a shepherd to herd them, you see. If you've ever watched sheep, you know, there's a shepherd. He usually has a long pole, a staff it's called, with a hook on it, and he'll watch and stand guard over the sheep. And every now and then, one of the sheep might go over here and start to wander away, and the shepherd will grab the sheep with that staff with a hook and pull him back, pull him back and get him back in the herd, And the sheep likes that. The sheep feels comfort. That's a comfort zone for the sheep. He has a shepherd. Well, in the same way, these people whom you say don't question anything that you say, well, they're your sheep. See? You come out here and you say, well, you upload a video and you say, yes, I had a talk with Steve Chen the other day. He called me over there, called me at my house in Ohio, and I was sitting on my couch talking to him, and he said, yeah, why don't you tell YouTubers this and tell them that, little information I want to get out to them. And what do your sheep do? Do they question it? No. They just go, okay, Renetto, sounds good to me. Sounds good. I believe that. Just like sheep. Just fall right in lockstep right behind you. And believe whatever you say without question. For instance, if you would say something about GregSolomon, maybe you'll say, well, GregSolomon is this, or GregSolomon is that. Your sheep will come right in behind you. Yeah, sounds good to me, Renetto. GregSolomon is bad. I hope he gets banned. Sheep. That's a very good analogy for these people, you say, who don't find anything you say unbelievable. And the ones who question you, the ones you call skeptics, are actually the intelligent, sentient people who just want to see a little evidence. Now, you also go on to say that we, who are questioning you, we're not interested in getting details of what YouTube has in store for us or where YouTube is heading. Instead, we're just interested in seeing this evidence from you. Well, Mr. Renetto, I would say that we are interested in understanding where YouTube is going and in getting the details of what YouTube has in store for us. We are interested in that. It's just that we would prefer to get those details from Steve Chen or from Chad Hurley, not from you. See? That's the difference. Because I believe if Steve Chen or Chad Hurley have something to say, they will just say it to us directly and not use someone who just has the potential to reach maybe a few thousand people when they can reach millions of people. So as you can see, Mr. Renetto, we're just asking for a little evidence to corroborate what you're saying. And then finally you go on to say in your video clip, you go on to say that you would like to play some poker and you challenge us. Let's play poker, and you hold your hand up saying you have the cards. You see, you know better than to attempt to play a game of chess with me, Mr. Renetto, because you've seen what I'm capable of doing when it comes to playing chess. You remember, I'm sure, what I did to Mr. Archer, how I devastated him in a game of chess. And so you're very careful not to enter into a game of chess with me. You decide to play poker. You think to yourself, well, GregSolomon probably doesn't know how to play poker. And you assume that GregSolomon does not play poker. Well, you assume wrong, Mr. Renetto. I do play poker. Now, I know some of you hate to hear me say this, but it's the truth. Poker is one of a variety of subjects of which I'm quite knowledgeable. And I am knowledgeable enough at the game of poker to know that when you play poker, everyone at the table must have some cards, you see. You don't just sit down at the table and throw money into the pot and only one man has the cards. See, no one else out here is making the claim that Steve Chen is calling them up and we're sitting back on our couch talking to Steve Chen about what Steve wants to tell YouTubers. No one else is making that claim, only you are. So you're the only one holding those cards, see. So we're not playing poker here, Mr. Renetto. See? Because everybody doesn't have cards, no. What we're playing, or what you're playing, I should say, would be more equivalent to, more analogous to a game of Liar's Dice, or Call My Bluff. And you've already had your bluff called once, because I see that Mr. Red Scald has responded with a video response to your poker video, and he called your bluff to the tune of $1,000 cash. He called your bluff to present some incontrovertible evidence upon which he will pay you $1,000 cash. So you have had your bluff called, and you are right now going to have your bluff called again, Mr. Renetto. I call your bluff. I tell you to show some incontrovertible evidence. You're putting up $100? I will put up my video camera. That's right. I put up my camera, Mr. Renetto, against your $100. You trust me, your $100 is mere chump change compared to Greg Solomon's camera. Now there's 2 times you've had your bluff called. Show us the incontrovertible evidence, Mr. Renetto. In a week from now, you could be sitting in some very tall cotton. You could have Red Skull's $1,000 cash in this hand and Greg Solomon's camera in the other hand. You could make a video and hold it up and say, look what I have. I won Greg Solomon's camera playing a game. I beat Greg Solomon at a game and won his camera. And here it is for all to see. You have that opportunity, Mr. Renetto. However, you must show me incontrovertible proof and evidence. And if you show me anything less than incontrovertible proof and evidence, then you will send $100 to a charity of my choice. Your bluff has been called, Mr. Renetto. I will be waiting for your reply. Until next time, this is Greg Solomon. Take care.